Have you ever stopped to think about how a single verse of scripture can be like a doorway? A doorway that opens up into an entire philosophical universe. Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to take a deep, deep dive into one verse from the Qur'an's Surah Maryam. And what we'll find is a profound worldview about God, justice, and the very fabric of reality itself. So our guide for this journey is a really detailed theological lecture. We're not just, reading a verse and giving a simple opinion. No, we're actually breaking down an intricate academic argument, one that uses philosophy and reason to unpack the meaning of these sacred words. And these are the verses right at the heart of our whole discussion. He has certainly enumerated them and counted them a full counting, and all of them are coming to him alone. Now, on the surface, this seems to be about God's complete knowledge of everything and everyone. But when you start thinking about it philosophically, oh man, the implications of this kind of absolute awareness are just staggering. And that's what leads us to the central puzzle, right? If God's knowledge is truly absolute, completely total, what does that actually mean for our idea of justice? And what does it say about our own existence, our very self, and our ability to make sense of the universe around us? All right, here's our roadmap for how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look closely at that foundational verse. Then, we're going to explore this idea of God's all-encompassing nature. From there, we'll see how that connects to the very essence of justice, and then look at the role of human reason in all of this. After that, we'll explore the link between the self and the creator, and finally, we'll pull it all together into one coherent worldview. So let's start at the beginning, with the verse itself. In this analysis, these words aren't just seen as a statement of faith, they're the launchpad. They're the starting block for a rational investigation into the very nature of existence. Okay, so now we get to our first really big concept: how divine knowledge is understood in this whole philosophical framework. And let me tell you, it is fundamentally different from how we, as humans, perceive or know anything. Think about it. We experience time as a line, right? There's a past, a present, and a future. It's a sequence. But the argument here is that for God, there is no sequence. All of existence, every single moment, every particle, from the beginning to the end, is known in one single, timeless, all-encompassing act of awareness. It's not like watching a movie. It's a total, complete presence. Now, you might be asking, how is that even possible? Well, it's explained by this crucial philosophical principle, divine simplicity, or ahadiyya. This idea basically says that the divine essence isn't made up of different parts or attributes. It's just one single, indivisible, and unchanging reality. So there isn't a knowing part over here and a willing part over there. It's all one absolute unity. Honestly, getting your head around this concept of ahadiyya is the key that unlocks this entire argument. So if we accept that the divine essence is perfectly simple and unified, well, what does that have to imply about the nature of divine justice? Where does justice fit in? This brings us to a really critical question. Does God choose to be just, like it's one option among many? Or is justice something much, much deeper, something absolutely essential to God's very being? So the lecture lays out a pretty clear logical proof. Let's just walk through it together. Step 1. The premise is that the divine essence is simple and absolute, okay? Step 2. By its very definition, a simple, unified reality can't have internal contradictions. You can't have both perfect goodness and its total opposite, evil, coexisting within it. And step 3. Therefore, since injustice is a form of evil, a contradiction of perfect order, it is logically impossible for it to come from a perfectly simple essence. And that leads to this incredibly powerful conclusion. The point is this: justice isn't some set of external rules that God decides to follow. Justice is an inherent necessary expression of the divine essence itself. God cannot be unjust, in the same way that a circle cannot be a square. It's a logical impossibility. Okay, I know this is all very abstract, very profound stuff, and it naturally brings up the next question. If this is the true reality of the cosmos, are we humans even equipped to understand it? How could we possibly access this kind of truth? Well, the answer provided in this theological framework is that we have a special faculty. It's a tool that every single one of us possesses, an inner lamp, you could say, for perceiving these higher truths. And in Arabic, it's known as aql, or reason. Now, it is absolutely crucial to understand that aql here doesn't just mean being clever or good at math. No, it's described as something way more profound. It's called an inner prophet. It's that faculty inside of us that can directly perceive fundamental truths, like the inherent goodness of justice and the ugliness of oppression, even before we read it in a sacred book.
And the text makes this really sharp distinction. On one side, you have true reason, aql, which connects us to the divine and helps us see ultimate moral truths. And on the other side, you have just cunning, the kind of cleverness used for worldly gain, for strategy, and sometimes for deception. One serves the spirit, the other serves the ego.
So, the role of this true reason is absolutely central. It's the very foundation of our moral responsibility. It's what lets us recognize that justice is beautiful and injustice is ugly. It's the tool that helps us interpret the signs of God all around us in the universe. And ideally, it's supposed to be the ruler of our inner world, guiding our desires and our emotions. All right, so let's connect this huge cosmic system right back down to us, to the individual. How does the structure of our own self relate to the structure of all of reality? There's this famous aphorism that is absolutely key to the whole argument. He who knows his own self knows his Lord. What this is saying is that the path to understanding the Creator is through understanding your own self. Your inner world is a reflection of the outer world. And this just illustrates that connection perfectly. A well-ordered self, one where that higher faculty of aql, or reason, is in charge, governing the lower faculties like anger and desire, that self becomes a microcosm. It's a mirror of the divine order of the entire cosmos, where an absolute, just, and rational principle governs everything. To find order within yourself is to understand the order of the universe. So now let's just take a step back and see how all of these threads, divine simplicity, inherent justice, reason, the self, how they all weave together into a single cohesive tapestry. And here it is, the complete system, flowing logically right from the top to the bottom. It starts with a single, absolute, divine essence. From that reality flows inherent justice. We are given the tool of aql, or reason, to perceive this truth. And our own inner self is designed to be a microcosm, a tiny mirror of this perfect cosmic order. You see how every single piece connects to the next? It's beautiful. So we come all the way back to where we started. That verse, he has enumerated them and counted them a full counting. It's completely transformed. It's no longer just a statement about some kind of divine accounting. It becomes a profound declaration about the very fabric of the universe, a universe built on a foundation of perfect order and inherent justice, a reality that our own reason has the potential to grasp. And that leaves us with one final crucial question to really chew on. If this powerful tool, this inner prophet of reason, is built right into us, why don't we always perceive this perfect justice? What are the veils, our desires, our ego, our attachments, that cloud the lamp of reason and stop us from seeing the world as it truly is?